Chapter 5, Policies. What are lake management policies? Policies in lake management are developed to guide achieving cleaner water, better wildlife habitats, and more local community involvement. They set the direction to preserve, restore, and sustainably manage lakes and their surrounding environments. These policies typically consider water quality and quantity, biodiversity, land use, climate adaptation and resilience, community engagement, financing, and enforcement. Policies and laws. For these policies to work, they need support from laws. Laws give policies their strength by setting enforceable rules and standards. They also empower governments to take action, like inspecting activities or penalizing those who break the rules. Local regulations or bylaws, which tackle specific issues, often come from these more prominent laws. Policies and laws work together closely. Policies often come first, identifying a problem and setting a goal to solve it. Laws are then created to ensure that policies can be implemented. Detailed documents that provide practical instructions, technical standards, or recommended steps are needed to implement policies and laws properly. They are generally called implementation guidelines. An overview of the national policies for lake basin management. Though the national policies for lake management don't exist in many countries, the existing national policies for lake basin management generally fall into 5 categories. 1. As part of water resource policies in general IWRM or as part of the river management IRBM. 2. As part of environmental policies emphasizing conservation and pollution control. 3. As part of fisheries and biodiversity policies. 4. As part of land use policies addressing catchment degradation. And 5. As part of climate and disaster management policies adapting to changing conditions and risks. Integrated Lake Basin Management, ILBM, needs to encompass these multiple policy frameworks. Examples of lake management policies include the U.S. Clean Water Act, which focuses on water quality and ecosystem health, India's National Lake Conservation Plan, NLCP for pollution prevention and community participation, China's national water law addressing pollution and ecological restoration for lakes like Taihu, Japan's law for the conservation of lake environments exemplified by Lake Biwa, and Kenya's Water Act and Environmental Management and Coordination Act, EMCA, which manage resources and biodiversity for lakes such as Victoria and Naivasha. Development process of lake management policies. Development of lake management policies typically involves structured processes to address environmental, social, and economic challenges while fostering sustainable use and conservation. It generally follows the steps of problem identification and assessment, stakeholder engagement and public consultation, policy design and objective setting, and research and data collection. Further, evaluating proposed policies' economic, social, and environmental costs and benefits must be assessed to ensure practical and sustainable policy. Who develops and implements lake management policies? Development of lake management policies is the responsibility of national and local governments. Their implementation involves local governments, municipal authorities, and communities. Local and municipal governments oversee land use, zoning, and local regulations around the lake, address waste management issues, enforce environmental laws, and manage local public resources. Communities are responsible for sustainable lake management, overseeing fishing practices, conservation activities, and community-based monitoring programs. Periodic assessment of the effectiveness of lake basin management policies. Lake basin management policies must be periodically revised to adapt to evolving environmental, socioeconomic, and governance conditions. Sector-specific and operational policies, such as those addressing water quality, biodiversity, and land use, required to remain effective and responsive to emerging challenges. In contrast, overarching framework policies established by national governments can be revised less frequently, as they provide long-term strategic direction and set the foundation for sectoral actions. Regular evaluations should guide these revisions to ensure the overarching frameworks align with current realities while allowing flexibility for localized and sector-specific adjustments. Revisions are inherently tied to political and legal processes at the national and federal levels and often involve significant costs and transactions to address accompanying institutional and technological needs. These updates are typically guided by newly established principles and standards, which provide benchmarks for assessing progress or setbacks in lake conditions, resource utilization, and social impacts. Key evaluation measures to support these revisions include stakeholder surveys and community feedback, impact assessment studies, comparative analysis and benchmarking, cost-benefit and cost-effectiveness analyses, and environmental health and risk assessments. Together, these tools ensure that policy updates are evidence-based, forward-looking, and capable of addressing immediate challenges and long-term sustainability goals. Conclusion. In summary, lake basin management policies provide frameworks for the sustainable use and conservation of lake ecosystems, addressing water quality, biodiversity, land use, climate resilience, and community engagement. Developed through collaboration among governments, international bodies, local communities, NGOs, and the private sector, policies undergo structured processes, from problem identification to stakeholder engagement and cost-benefit analyses, balancing environmental, social, and economic goals.